A royal dream come true. Princess Leonor lavished Denmark wedding melts the hearts of millions. It began like every royal fairy tale we thought we already knew, a majestic cathedral, a shining carriage, and a princess walking toward her destiny. But what unfolded in Denmark on that luminous spring morning of 2025 was something no one could have scripted. Because this wasn't just another royal wedding. It was the moment when a nation's heart melted, and the world fell in love all over again, not with a crown, but with the young woman who wore it with such grace. Princess Leonor of Spain, radiant, serene, and utterly human, became the beating heart of Europe that day. Her wedding to Denmark's Prince Christian wasn't simply an event. It was a feeling. One that rippled from Copenhagen's royal courtyards all the way to the streets of Madrid, echoing through televisions, phones, and hearts around the world. As the royal bells rang across Denmark, millions tuned in live. Crowds lined the cobblestone streets waving both Spanish and Danish flags. The scent of fresh white roses filled the air. The atmosphere was electric, expectant, yet tender. Then, in that defining moment, the golden carriage doors opened. And there she was. Princess Leonor stepped out wearing a gown that seemed to float between centuries, a breathtaking creation by Spanish designer Valeria de Ordóñez. Handcrafted silk from Valencia, lace from Bruges, and an intricate veil embroidered with symbols of both kingdoms. Every thread told a story, of unity, legacy, and love. But beyond the design, it was the emotion in her eyes that captured the world. For a heartbeat, all of Copenhagen went still. Cameras zoomed in. Tears glimmered in the crowd. Even the most stoic royal watchers whispered one thing: she's magnificent. Yet what truly melted hearts wasn't the grandeur. It was the humility behind it. As Leonor began her slow walk toward the cathedral, she paused to greet a group of Danish children waving Spanish flags. She smiled, knelt briefly, and said softly, "Hoy, somos una sola familia, today, we are one family." That single moment became an instant symbol of warmth and unity. Social media exploded with emotion. #Royal Dream trended across 50 countries within an hour. Inside the cathedral, every detail was chosen with care. The altar was draped in white and gold, the colors of peace and renewal. The air shimmered with candlelight. And as the orchestra played the first notes of a newly composed piece, Eterna Union, Leonor began her walk down the aisle. Queen Letitia's eyes glistened as her daughter approached. King Felipe stood tall but visibly emotional, watching his little girl, now a woman, a leader, and soon, a wife, take her place beside the man she loved. When the vows began, the world leaned closer. Prince Christian's voice was steady but full of warmth as he said, "I promise to walk beside you, not ahead, not behind." Leonor's reply brought the cathedral to tears. "And I promise," she said, "to honor not only our love, but the people we serve." In that moment, it wasn't two royals exchanging vows. It was two souls pledging to carry the weight of tradition with modern hearts. And then came the moment that would make history, the kiss. As the choir sang softly and the organ swelled, Leonor and Christian sealed their vows with a kiss that felt less like protocol and more like poetry. The crowd outside erupted. Bells rang across Copenhagen. Confetti, gold and red for Spain, white and blue for Denmark, filled the sky. It was joy, pure and unfiltered. A royal fairy tale come alive. But behind the glittering perfection lay layers of emotion and meaning that few fully grasped. Because Leonor's journey to that altar hadn't been easy. She had grown up under the spotlight, the daughter of a king, expected to embody tradition yet yearning for authenticity. Every smile had been scrutinized, every step analyzed. Yet through it all, she remained grounded, graceful, resilient, human. That strength radiated throughout her wedding day. Even during the lavish reception at Christiansborg Palace, amid crystal chandeliers and royal guests, Leonor's focus stayed on people, not protocol. She personally greeted the staff who had worked for months behind the scenes. She laughed with children from both nations. She even took a moment to hug her younger sister, Infanta Sofia, whispering, "We did it." Dinner that night was a masterpiece, dishes blending Spanish and Danish flavors. Olive oil from Andalusia. Danish salmon glazed with honey from Seville. Every bite was a bridge between two cultures. Then, as the night deepened, the first dance began. Leonor and Christian moved to a soft waltz arranged by a Spanish composer, blending into the Danish folk melody, Jeg ved en Larkert. The symbolism was undeniable: two melodies, different yet harmonized, just like their union. Crowds outside watched on giant screens. Couples held hands. Strangers hugged. Spain and Denmark weren't just witnessing a royal celebration, they were part of it. And then came the speech that would seal Leonor's place in history. Standing before hundreds of dignitaries, she lifted her glass and said, "Royalty is not about crowns or titles. It's about service, heart, and the courage to love openly in a world that often forgets how." The applause was thunderous. Even Queen Margrethe of Denmark, known for her composure, wiped away a tear. In that instant, everyone knew, Leonor had transcended the role of a princess. She had become a symbol of grace in a modern age. By morning, the wedding was being called the heart of Europe. Newspapers from Paris to New York couldn't get enough. Headlines read, "Leonor's love story unites the world," "The wedding that healed Europe's heart," and "Spain's princess redefines royal romance." But for Spain, the emotion went even deeper. Streets filled with celebrations. Giant screens replayed the ceremony. Strangers embraced, singing national songs. Many said it felt like Spain itself had been renewed, seen, loved, and admired once again through the eyes of their future queen. Fashion critics declared Leonor's gown the new symbol of royal femininity. Brides everywhere began requesting designs inspired by her delicate sleeves and embroidered constellations. The Leonor veil trend swept through Europe. Yet Leonor never sought the spotlight, it came to her naturally, because everything she did that day came from truth. Even as she and Christian waved from the palace balcony, her expression was calm, grateful, reflective. It wasn't triumph, it was peace. A soft kind of joy that seemed to say, "This is what dreams look like when you stay true to yourself." In the weeks that followed, the couple's wedding photos became global treasures. Each image, from the tearful embrace with her father to the quiet handhold during the ceremony, told a story of tenderness and legacy. But what truly lingered was the feeling, that warmth, that unity, that shared belief that love, when genuine, can heal, connect, and inspire millions. Because this wasn't just the story of a royal couple. It was the story of humanity rediscovering beauty in sincerity. Princess Leonor's lavish Denmark wedding became more than a royal event. It became a symbol that no matter how divided the world feels, love still has the power to unite nations, cultures, and generations. And as Spain celebrated deep into the night, one truth became clear: this wasn't just a royal dream come true. It was the world's reminder that fairy tales still exist, and sometimes they're real. Princess Leonor didn't just live a dream that day. She gave millions the courage to believe in theirs again. And that is why her 2025 royal wedding will forever be remembered, not just as the most beautiful of the century, but as the one that made the world believe in love once more.